Guy Fieri. For every fan of those bleach-blond haircicles, is a gastro grump dropping hate bombs crispier than a hot chicken sando. Here are 6 chefs who love Guy Fieri, and 5 who don't.
That's all right here, right now, on Triple D.
It's no surprise that 2 big, fun-loving Italian celebrity TV chefs get along splendidly. Fieri and Buddy Valastro even have restaurants in Las Vegas near one another. Guy Fieri's Vegas Kitchen and Bar and Buddy V's Ristorante.
A lot of people don't know this, but the cake boss can cook.
In 2020, Valastro appeared as a guest judge on an episode of Guy's Grocery Games. And the chemistry between the two was one of the best parts of the episode. In 2021, Valastro dropped into Fieri's Vegas Kitchen and Bar and posted a wholesome father and son lunch picture to his Instagram, expressing the duo's friendship. When Guy Fieri calls you one of his favorite chefs, it's safe to say you're gonna have some affection for the celebrity chef. Benny Lin cooks up high-quality Chinese-American staples with a focus on local seafood at his flagship Pagoda restaurant in the North Pole. North Pole, Alaska, that is. He's appeared on diners, drive-ins, and dives multiple times, sometimes to feature Pagoda, sometimes to visit other restaurants with Fieri. They've also hung out more than just on set and in TV studios. In 2015, Fieri shared a snap of the duo on a hike, along with Chef Aristo from Aristo's Greek restaurant. Fieri's relationship with Lin is very representative of Fieri's ethos at its best, highlighting high-quality restaurants in places you may have never considered would-be food destinations.
Oh, Benny,
Oh,
what I'm talking about.
well done, Guy.
To say Top Chef winner Richard Blais is a regular on Guy's Grocery Games would be an understatement.
It's time to get blazed.
He has judged countless episodes and competed on the show multiple times with varying levels of success. Blais isn't shy about mentioning his friendship with Fieri in interviews. Blais is well on his way to the status of top TV chef and doesn't seem to take his relationship with Fieri for granted. It seemed that Chef Carl Ruiz's death affected no one in the TV world more than Guy Fieri. Ruiz first garnered exposure from Fieri himself. His Italian deli, Ruiz, was featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives in 2013. But that was just the beginning. Ruiz appeared on a staggering 64 episodes of Guy's Grocery Games from 2016 to 2020. He first began as a contestant and won so many times that Fieri eventually made him a regular judge.
I've been cooking with Carl Ruiz for years. Awesome chef. And I've been telling him, you gotta open your own joint.
After Ruiz's tragic passing, Fieri sent out countless messages honoring his legacy. He even started a tipping campaign in his friend's honor, where he encouraged everyone to leave generous tips at local restaurants. In 2023, the New York Post reported on a meeting between Fieri and Marc Marrone at Marrone's Salt Lake City restaurant, Italian Graffiti. Afterwards, Marrone commented to the Post about how much he admired Fieri's energy and reverence for the entirety of the kitchen workers. Later in 2023, Fieri joined Marrone at his cooking demo at NBA All-Star Weekend. Once Fieri finds fellow chefs he gets along with, he always seems to go the extra mile to support them in a variety of ways. Not only does Top Chef winner Brooke Williamson work with Fieri on food TV constantly, but she credits him with giving her advice that changed her culinary trajectory. The moment occurred when she was judging contestants on Guy's Grocery Games. More used to being a competitor, she confessed that judging felt out of her wheelhouse. Fieri suggested a way to help was slowing down in the delivery of her feedback, giving the contestants more time to process her critique for improvement. Williamson said it was the best piece of advice she's gotten, and she still carries it with her to this day. She told Mashed, "The people who you're judging, I've been in their shoes, and they're pouring their heart out in a very uncomfortable situation to present something of their craft to you. They deserve nothing less than for their critique to be thoughtful and well thought out." Williamson also clearly thrives within the structures of his shows as a competitor, and won the first season of Fieri's show, Tournament of Champions. Fieri called her, quote, "the fiercest competitor in the culinary battlefield." Fierce competition is the name of the game in food TV. All those chefs may have found a kindred spirit in Fieri, but these next 5 never came around to Guy's bombastic hosting style. One of the hosts and judges of the most decorated food competition shows ever, Top Chef, Chef Tom Collichio, was an accomplished chef well before his TV stardom. The 2 TV celebrities come from different backgrounds, so it makes sense that they differ a little in execution and style. Collichio wasn't shy about questioning how producers greenlit Guy's Grocery Games during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
That groceries thing, that guy crispy thing. It's just hilarious. I always say to myself, how did that get made?
To be fair, Cohen led him on with the question, and Collichio clarified that he thought the show was fun, but doubled down on the fact that he was just baffled at how the show was ever produced in the first place.
I want to hear that pitch. Like, we're going to go to a supermarket, we're going to run around the store, and we're going to cook food. Okay, great.
Right.
What is
David Chang is a classically trained chef and restaurateur whose shows like The Mind of a Chef and Ugly Delicious focus on travel and unique regional culinary dishes. Of course, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives is also a travel show, but in Chang's eyes, it doesn't measure up. At the 2009 New York Food and Wine Festival, David Chang didn't mince words about how much he hates Fieri's presentation. His main critique of the celebrity chef was that he used his appearance to grab the audience's attention rather than keeping the focus on the food itself. Chang added that if he ever starts dressing like Fieri, he wants someone to, quote, throw me down the stairs. Chang comes from a different ethos than Fieri. Chang cut his teeth with his restaurant Momofuku Noodle Bar in the competitive Manhattan dining scene. Fieri came up directly on the Food Network. You could say they were destined to always be a bit at odds. Food Network stars dishing Food Network shade? It can't be! Alton Brown broke the shared station code during a panel at DragonCon in 2017. While announcing the return of his show, Good Eats, he took a jab at the crazy amount of airtime Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives receives on the Food Network, saying, essentially, in order to make room for the show on Food Network, they're gonna have to cut Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives down to 7.5 hours a day. He then went on to insinuate that Fieri was hogging all the airtime. It was definitely a joke, but there was some truth to it too. There was a time when Triple D was absolutely on the Food Network so often, it was staggering. At one point, Mario Batali was a culinary behemoth. He was known as an arbiter of Italian cuisine and an iron chef. It checks out that he would think someone whose main claim to fame was food TV wouldn't be up to snuff. During an episode of ABC's The Chew in 2016, Batali critiqued Anthony Bourdain's preparation of a dish by making an underhanded jab at Fieri.
This is a dump and stir?
Cook it truly, and you
Guy
cook
Fieri
this.
could make this dish.
Oh, that's so cruel, man. So cruel.
Batali probably should have been much less concerned with Fieri's cooking skills and much more focused on his own behavior. In 2017, Batali was hit with a barrage of sexual misconduct accusations, which sent his career on a downward spiral. And speaking of Anthony Bourdain,
Guy Fieri's tweet that he was on his way to a Nickelback concert. That was like the funniest thing. Of course.
Guy Fieri's most legendary hater was Anthony Bourdain. Bourdain pretty simply and blatantly did not think Fieri's style represented the culinary world well. He also didn't particularly like Fieri's position as an authority on good American food on diners, drive-ins, and dives. In 2012, Bourdain appeared on the SiriusXM show The Opie and Anthony Show and laid into Fieri's new NYC restaurant, Guy's American Kitchen and Bar, calling it a terror dome, and mocking everything from the food prices to the atmosphere, and of course getting in some digs at Fieri himself.
I'll tell you, that guy is set back spelling, like two decades.
Oh. The insults continued for years, mainly from Bourdain, although Fieri occasionally fired back. Fieri at one point called out Bourdain for what he viewed as hatred fueled by snobbery. During the 2012 roast of Bourdain, Fieri said, "Anthony, I gotta ask a question. Why do you hate me so much, brother? Is it because you went to a fancy culinary school and I didn't? I hear you're the only one in class who did most of his cooking with a spoon and a Bic lighter." And when GQ asked Fieri about Bourdain's jokes in 2015, Fieri said that he was honestly just sort of confused about the whole thing, saying, "It's actually disappointing. I don't like him making fun of people, and I don't like him talking and he's never talked to my face. I know he's definitely gotta have issues, because the average person doesn't behave that way." Their feud was apparently never quashed, and when Bourdain passed away in 2018, Fieri stayed silent.